times to celebrate our graduates of the class of 2021. We are honoring the achievements of the bachelor's and master's degree recipients from the Division of Humanities and the Division of Social Sciences in the College of Letters and Science, the UCLA International Institute, the Herb Alpert School of Music, and the School of Theater, Film, and Television. Yeah, give a round of applause, everyone. It's okay. Before we begin, the leadership of these ceremonies at UCLA acknowledges our presence on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples. The ceremony is part of our first spring commencement weekend in person after 2 long years. Today, the world is a different place than when we were last able to gather this way to honor our graduating class. We bring to this event our experience of a global pandemic, our commitment to address racial injustice at UCLA, and our hope for the years ahead to be filled with the many accomplishments and contribution of our graduates. To everyone in attendance today, I want to offer my congratulations. As the family members and friends of our graduates, you have enriched their lives with your love and support throughout their studies, whether their classes were held on campus here in Westwood or in each of your homes, courtesy of the internet. Together, our entire community at UCLA shares your pride and thanks you. At this time, please turn off your cell phones or at least be sure they are on vibrate. We encourage you to take photos or videos from your seats. Please do not stand in the aisles because we cannot block them during the ceremony. Family and friends of our graduates, I am very proud to present the class of 2021. It is my pleasure to introduce the Dean Emerita of Undergraduate Education in the College of Letters and Science, Patricia A. Turner.
Thank you, Melissa. What a beautiful afternoon this is. And you know, you're really a good-looking crowd. I've been on campus a lot this weekend. I think you were the best-looking crowd that's on campus this weekend. I suspect most, if not all, of the students did mark your graduation in June of 2021. You listened to the virtual ceremony on a computer, you came to campus and took your picture in front of Royce. You anointed yourself in the inverted fountain. If you didn't do that, you can go over there after the ceremony and do it today. Presumably, you found a way for your family to honor your accomplishments. But you worked hard for that degree. Something was missing, and you chose to be here today, and that's great. That tells me that the folks in this room like to take stock of what they've done, contemplate, and anchor their rites of passage with a ceremony. So I want you to indulge in a bit more reflective thinking. I want you to think back on when you didn't know how to get to Ackerman, or Royce, or Bunch, or the Court of Sciences. That you of 5 or so years ago experiencing UCLA for the first time. Imagine someone came up to that you, the incoming student you, and said, "What do you think your life will be like in June of 2022? How would the freshman or new transfer you have predicted this day, this month, this time?" You would not have assumed that you would be wearing regalia and leis and uncomfortable shoes this year. That would have been your 2021 plan. 1 year after graduation, what would you want to have accomplished? I hope each and every one of you is celebrating the ways in which the 2022 you exemplifies the you wanted to be in 2017. That can be true even if you aren't in the same major, even if you thought you would have had the same significant other, and if you thought in 2017 that you would have the same significant other in 2022, you were very naive. Even if the GPA you graduated with isn't what you would have predicted. So let's talk about June of 2023, June of 2031, June of 2041. Maybe there are some aspects of commencement exercises that should continue after the diploma is on your wall. You've already marked the occasion for 2 years. Why not make a commitment to an annual moment of reflection? I want to encourage you to ritualize taking a pause around this time of year. And on the one hand, looking back and taking stock of what you've done, and also looking ahead and thinking about what you will have wanted to have accomplished 1 year out. I'm not encouraging you to make a list of things per se. I'm thinking more of deriving something I'll call a meditation. Now, as young Bruin alums, the temptation will be to make this a little too much about education and career. Okay, it's fine to say, in my 2023 celebration, I want to have applied to graduate school or to have gotten my first promotion. Your meditation contain a little bit of that if it must. But I really encourage you to identify those things that contribute to your satisfaction of a full life. Try to avoid things that can be counted. So if reading makes you happy, don't say, "I want to have read a book every 2 weeks." Say, "At this time next year, I want to be able to name a book that just swept me off my feet. Next year, I hope my go-to playlist contains some musicians I haven't even heard of now." Or I think in June of 2023, my graduation celebration will be going on one of the new hikes I've discovered. Given the diversity of the Bruin family, no 2 meditations in here will be the same. But I do hope there are 2 categories common to all of them. One is service. In spite of good intentions, this can be really hard to prioritize after graduation, but I hope you are inclined to continue that value that is so important to UCLA. You don't have to commit to solving the homeless problem, although if you can, please do. Just think about the ways in which your talents, time, and resources can make a difference to others. I have a relative, closer to 80 years old than 70, whose membership in her church is very important to her. Although she did, many members of her congregation didn't graduate from high school, very few from college. But they are very proud, and she reaches out to me, did twice in the past few days, to help with some prose they need for the Juneteenth celebration they're planning next week. I'm a nerdy college professor, so they send me information and ask me to turn it into paragraphs for their programs. I can do that. You can do equivalents of that. And speaking of aging relatives, the other category I hope you all have is family. First of all, let's give a round of applause for the family members who are here today celebrating with you. Some of you are accompanied by the families you were born into, others families comprised of supporters who may not be close blood relatives. For all of you, in 2023, 2031, 2041, what do you want to be able to say about yourself as a giving member of your family? Did you attend a place of worship with your grandmother? Can you celebrate your 2023 commencement by making a recipe you learned from your great aunt and uncle? Or maybe you'll shoot hoops with your father. If you are a first-generation student, can you combine your 2023, 2024, 2025 celebration with one for a younger sibling or cousins whom you've helped navigate SATs and fill out scholarship applications? Now, if you create this kind of annual anniversary check-in, it's very important that you maintain the optimism of this occasion. As you sit here today, you weren't thinking about the papers you wrote that didn't get an A, or that 18-month period you went without working out, or the dust-up you with your roommates that could have been prevented. UCLA, the #1 public university in the United States, has deemed that you are worthy of having that label on your resumes for the rest of your lives. So give yourselves permission to annually revisit your satisfaction with your situation in the world and contemplate what you will want to celebrate in the next iteration. So, on behalf of the chancellor, the faculty, the staff, the alumni, the rest of the student body, Class of 2021, congratulations, and go Bruins.
Thank you, Pat, for those kind and inspiring words for these graduates. Good evening, distinguished faculty, graduates, and guests. It is a great honor and privilege to be invited back to my alma mater to help celebrate the class of 2021. Today marks a day you can commemorate this final milestone all Bruins look forward to, crossing the stage and becoming an official graduate. And as a fellow Bruin, let's be real, we all thought of this day and began planning since the moment we received our acceptance letters. Standing here on stage, I begin to reminisce on some of my favorite everyday UCLA moments. Every morning approaching Bruin Walk, we were greeted with, "Excuse me, sir, can I ask you a question?" At the same time, students walked with their earbuds in, Disney songs blasting, heads facing down, avoiding eye contact, and steering clear away from the infamous flyering. Now, I won't lie, I often peeked up to see which clubs was selling Portos. In the afternoon, we all searched for Powell Cat, but if we couldn't find him, we knew we could find some friendly pups to pet. As we made our way up Jan's steps, we made sure to skip the 6th step, and before every final, we stopped to rub the Bruin bear paw, just as our NSAs at orientation always told us to. To this day, I still believe my rubbing of the Bruin paw before heading to the Rose Bowl is the reason why, in 2018, UCLA defeated that school across town and brought back the victory bell right to where it belongs. Yeah. My memories as a student end with my name being called, crossing the stage, and turning my tassel to the left. At that moment, I began my new chapter with new memories, becoming a UCLA alumna. Many students know when their college experience will end, graduation day. All students have that final countdown on their first day of their final quarter. I knew my last day was June 14th, 2019. Yours should have been June 2021. But little did we know your UCLA experience would come to a halt in March of 2020. You had no warning, no countdown. The rest of junior year gone, senior year an unknown. Instead of going around saying your name, major, and a fun fact about yourself, you began to ask, are you able to hear me? Can you see my screen? These screens became your new classrooms. There was no separation between school and home. However, Bruins are resilient. You found ways to overcome an obstacle no graduating class has ever had to undergo. Your journey was not easy, having to navigate these many obstacles. Technological issues, time zones, living with your family, finding childcare, facing food or housing insecurity, experiencing medical conditions, and even dealing with the loss of someone who couldn't be here today. While juggling all of that, you managed to still wake up, log on to class, whether you wanted to or not, and completed your degree. Not to mention a degree from the #1 public university in the nation, all throughout a pandemic. Yes. Class of 2021, you did that. Now, as you leave this room today, I challenge you to associate your UCLA experience with more than just the disruption of COVID. Unlike my commencement, you entered this room as alumni, not as students. Your new chapter and set of memories has already begun. When you leave today, take a stroll, rub the Bruin paw, take a deep breath on an empty Bruin walk, skip the 6th step, and hey, maybe if you're lucky, you'll spot Powell Cat. Take these experiences you gained at UCLA and apply them out into the real world. Remember, each Bruin has a unique UCLA experience that has shaped them to be the person they are today. For me, it was my high involvement with orientation, residential life, and club sports that allowed me to make lifelong connections with my coworkers, residents, and peers, including many of you here today, which is why I'm standing here celebrating with you all. Thank you, and once again, congratulations to each and every single one of you.
Thank you, Melissa. This is it. We have been anticipating this moment. Would the first row of graduates please stand and begin your approach to the stage? Graduates, we recognize you today for your individual achievements, and we present you as UCLA graduates to your family and friends. Our master's degree recipients will be followed by our bachelor's degree recipients. The graduates will cross our stage and pause for a photo in recognition of their achievements by everyone gathered here today. May our celebration of your accomplishments commence.
Lourdes Stephanie Mercado.
They need someone to control that they don't cross in front of me while I'm still signing the name.
Chuyan Sui. Brendan James O'Connell. Yuju Wang. Eugene Cho. Yewon Lee. Mosammed Tasneem. Jian Lu. Allison Elizabeth Verbal. Raul Garcia. Annabelle Violet Augustine. Natasha Ann Mayseem Lum. Gitti Benamu. Galvam Pasupathy. Kina Marie Horton. Rachel Coe. Ani Margarian. Ronnie Elward Williams. Isabel Jean Nenad. Jai Prishkulnik. Emily Caitlin Siabuka. Ryan James Hall. Matthew Chu. Casper Lee. Madison Dell Marshall. Cassidy Vang. Lauren Nicole Enriquez. Annalisa Elena Burns. Nisreen Rifa Deeb. Marley Crystal Goto. Ambrose Chi-Lung Chow. Francesca Tazon Diaz. Kylie Marie Lafrene. Mitchell Hayes Vantner. Annabelle Vananen. Haley Sarah Rockneypour. Grace Catherine Adler. Jasmine Justine Jackson. Xingyi Wang. Flora Yu. Calvin Yam. Mok Tiraniti. Nawapan Watanasirisuk. David Dresbach. Joaquin Silva. Ronan Alexander Dosky Mulvaney. Brian Joseph Farr. Nathan Tai Wu. Miriam Salib. Alejandra Barbosa. Natalia Lim. Michelle Huang. Brian Joshua Go. Rondi Gardose Tansiako. Jessica Renee Cienfuegos. Jared E. Angst. Saba Hosseini. Cassidy Nicole Irish. Nicholas Martono. Jaha Wang. Catherine Gann. Ashley Figueroa Lozano. Lourdes Reyes. Michelle Kong. Shihong Zhang. Kiera Marquis Branch. Arca David Kachumian. Ani Markarian. Hannah Rebecca Robinson. Melissa Pei Wu. Alina Wong. Sandrine Alyssa Snedeker. Shah Ahmed. Kawaii Choran Kamicho.
Thank you all. In the spring of 2021, Chancellor Block conferred your degrees. And at this time, I want to revisit that moment with an acknowledgement of his words. More than anything, the Chancellor hoped that your experience at UCLA opened up some windows on the world for you, yet leaves you yearning to know more. Your experience at UCLA is just the beginning of a life of continuing discovery, and the skills you've acquired here in and outside of the classroom will serve you well in this rapidly changing world. When we gathered here today, perhaps your tassel was on the left, which is correct. If it isn't, please take this opportunity to turn your tassel. We are so proud of you, class of 2021. Graduates, please stand and be acknowledged by your family and friends. Please be seated. And all of you good-looking guests, please remember that you must remain seated until the graduates have exited the ceremony. Family and friends, we are grateful that you joined us today and that you've played such important roles in the success of our graduates. I will leave you with the words of John Wooden. Success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It's courage that counts. Congratulations. And go Bruins!